Have you ever opened a bag of Lay's chips, told yourself, I'll just eat one, and then suddenly the bag is empty? Yeah, we've all been there. But have you ever stopped to wonder how those crispy, golden chips even got into that bag? Today, we're going behind the scenes to see the real story of how Lay's potato chips are made. From farms and factories to frying and flavoring. It's a crunchy journey you don't want to miss. So sit back, grab a snack, maybe even some chips, and let's find out how Lay's chips are really made. Chapter 1. The chip that changed everything. Before we step inside the Lay's factory, let's go back in time. Way back to 1853. That's when something kind of magical happened in a restaurant in Saratoga Springs, New York. There was a chef named George Crumb. One day, a customer kept sending his fried potatoes back, saying they were too thick and too soggy. George was getting annoyed, so he had an idea. Or maybe it was more of a joke. He sliced the potatoes super thin, fried them until they were super crispy, and sprinkled them with salt. Guess what? The customer loved them, and so did everyone else. People started calling them Saratoga chips, and that little kitchen accident became the first version of what we now call potato chips. Chapter 2. Meet Mr. Lay. Fast forward to 1939. A man named Herman Lay started selling chips in the southern US from the back of his car. That's right, just a man and his chips. But soon, his little business grew and grew until it became what we now know as Frito-Lay, the company behind those yellow bags we see in every store. But Lay's didn't stop at just any chip. They wanted their chips to be perfect, every single one. So in the early 2000s, they created their own special kind of potato, one that nobody else uses. It's kind of a secret recipe, but we do know a few things about it. Chapter 3. The secret potato. The potato Lay's uses isn't just any potato, it's part of something called the flcultivar series. That just means it's a special type of potato made just for chips. Why is it special? First, it's high in starch. That gives Lay's chips that crispy crunch. Second, it's low in sugar. Too much sugar makes chips turn brown when they're cooked, and no one wants that. And third, the potato has thin skin, so it's easier to peel and there's less waste. These potatoes are so special, they even have their own patent. That's like giving the potato a legal certificate that says, no one else can copy me. Chapter 4. From dirt to delivery. Now that we know about the special potatoes, let's see how they're grown. Lay's works with farms in more than 25 states across the US. These farms grow the special Lay's potatoes in the spring, when the weather is warm and sunny. After about 3 to 4 months of growing underground, the potatoes are ready to be pulled out of the soil during summer. To do this, farmers use a big machine called a harvester. This machine digs into the ground and pulls up everything: the potatoes, the roots, the rocks, and the dirt. Then, it sends all of it onto a moving belt that shakes off the extra soil. It's so fast, it can sort through 40,000 potatoes every single minute. Once the potatoes are out of the ground, they get loaded into trucks and taken to storage barns. But here's something cool. In hot places like Florida, the farmers have to move fast. If the potatoes stay underground too long in the heat, they can actually start cooking in the soil. Chapter 5. The Potato Hotel, aka cold storage. At the storage barn, the truck unloads the potatoes onto a system of bouncing belts that clean off more dirt and rocks. Then the potatoes go into giant wooden crates and are taken into a big cold room, almost like a hotel for potatoes. Inside, the room is dark and cold, around 45 degrees Fahrenheit with just the right amount of humidity. This keeps the potatoes fresh, stops them from growing new sprouts, and keeps them from drying out. Some potatoes stay here for a few weeks, others for several months. They just chill, literally, until it's time to head to the Lay's factory. Chapter 6. Wash, rinse, repeat. When the Lay's factory needs more potatoes, forklifts carry the crates out of cold storage and onto a moving belt. The potatoes go straight into a rushing water channel called a flume. This flume gives them a fun ride while washing off the last bits of dirt. Then they roll across stiff brushes and get sprayed with powerful water jets. These steps make sure the potatoes are sparkling clean before they head to the big machines. Next, they're loaded into semi-trucks and taken to the Lay's factory. And here's something crazy. The potatoes you're eating in your bag of chips were probably still in the ground just a day before. Yep, Lay's chips go from farm to factory to bag in less than 24 hours. Chapter 7, let the testing begin. As soon as the truck reaches the factory, it's tilted up at an angle so the potatoes slide down into the factory. A worker grabs a few and puts them into a water tank with a tool called a hydrometer. This test checks how much starch and water are in the potatoes. That's important because each batch is a little different, and the cooking time needs to match exactly. The results go straight to the fryers so the chips can cook just right. Chapter 8, peeling, scanning, and slicing. Even though the potatoes were washed at the farm and again at the factory, they still get one more rinse. Why? Because any leftover dirt or tiny rocks could hurt the machines. After this final bath, the potatoes go into giant peelers. These peelers have rough walls inside, kind of like sandpaper. As the potatoes tumble around, the skins rub off. Water jets spray away the peels, and just like that, smooth, clean potatoes are ready. Next comes something super high-tech. The potatoes roll under special cameras that can scan them in just milliseconds. If any are bad, like if they're rotten or have big dark spots, a robot arm flicks them out of the way in midair. Then, the good potatoes move on to spinning blades that slice them super thin. We're talking about 0.5 millimeters thin. That's like the width of 5 human hairs. Each potato turns into about 35 slices. The machines even use different blades for different chip types. Straight blades for classic Lays, and zigzag blades for wavy or ruffled chips. Chapter 9, time to fry. Now comes the part that makes Lay's chips so crunchy and tasty. Frying. The slices drop into a channel of flowing water that takes them through a few washing steps to remove any leftover starch. Starch is sticky, and too much can make the chips clump together. After washing, powerful vacuums suck up any extra water so they don't steam in the fryer. Then, the slices dive into a 40-foot-long fryer filled with a mix of oils, canola, vegetable, and sunflower. They cook at about 350 degrees Fahrenheit for around 3 minutes, but that can change depending on the moisture inside each potato. Here's a neat trick Lay's uses. They always keep the oil 50% fresh and 50% used. That mix keeps the chips golden and crispy without being too greasy. Chapter 10, shake, sort, and season. Once they're done frying, the chips slide out onto vibrating conveyors. Everything moves just enough to keep the chips from breaking. If they used regular belts, the chips might smash or crumble, and nobody wants a bag full of crumbs. The chips then pass under another fast-moving scanner. This one checks 400 chips every second. If it sees any chips that are too brown or oddly shaped, it shoots a tiny puff of air to knock the bad ones out. Now comes the most delicious step, seasoning. The fresh chips fall into a big spinning drum. A bag of seasoning, maybe just plain salt, or maybe BBQ, sour cream and onion, or even Chesapeake crab spice, gets poured in. As the drum spins, the chips get evenly coated from both sides. Fun fact, Lay's first flavored chip came out in 1965, and it was barbecue. Now they have over 200 flavors around the world. Which one is your favorite? Chapter 11, packing it up. Once the chips are seasoned, they head to weighing machines that figure out exactly how many chips should go in each bag. These machines are super fast. They calculate and fill a portion in just 30 milliseconds. Next, the chips drop into bags that get filled with nitrogen gas. It might sound weird, but this keeps the chips fresh and stops them from going stale. It also gives each bag that little puff of air at the top, like a pillow, to protect the chips during shipping. After that, the bags are sealed shut with heat and sent down the line. Chapter 12, from the factory to you. Now it's time to box things up. Some Lay's factories use real people to pack the boxes, but others use robot arms with suction cups. These robots gently pick up each bag and place it into a box with perfect accuracy. Once the boxes are packed, they go to the palletizing area. There, more machines stack them into tall piles called pallets. Each pallet gets wrapped in thick plastic to hold everything in place. Then, special robots called AGVs, automated guided vehicles, move the pallets to the warehouse. Finally, big trucks load up and deliver the chips to stores all over the world. And just like that, those golden, crispy Lay's chips end up in your hands, ready for your next snack attack. So, the next time you open a bag of Lay's, remember the journey your chips went through. From the dirt of a farm, to a high-tech factory, to your favorite flavor. It's more than just a snack. It's a crispy, salty adventure that took a lot of care, machines, and tasty science to get just right. And here's the big question. Can you stop at just one chip? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time with another crunchy story on food confections.